The blue lights of the meeting room reflected off Skither's scaled skin. He sat alone at the round table, waiting. His forefingers tapped on the smooth surface. After working for the Galactic Council for 200 years, he knew that waiting was part of the job. The door slid open with a soft hiss. High Chancellor Vex Moria walked in, her long robes flowing behind her. Her 6 eyes blinked in sequence as she took the seat across from him. "Thank you for coming so quickly, Senior Envoy," she said. Skither nodded respectfully. "Your message said it was urgent, Chancellor." "It is." Vex Moria touched a button on the table. A hologram appeared between them, a blue and green planet spinning slowly. "Do you recognize this world?" "Earth," said Skither, his voice dropping. "The quarantine planet." "Yes, we have a problem with the humans." Skither leaned forward. Everyone in the council knew about Earth. The planet was rich with life, but had one species that worried the council: humans. They had been watched from afar for many years, but never contacted officially. "What kind of problem?" asked Skither. Vex Moria expanded the hologram. It now showed images of human cities, vehicles, and rockets. "They are advancing too fast," she said. "Look at this data. 200 years ago, they were traveling on horses. 100 years ago, they built their first flying machines. 70 years ago, they split the atom. And now, they have sent probes beyond their solar system." Skither's yellow eyes widened. "That is not normal." "No, it is not. Most species take at least 500 years to make such progress. The humans did it in less than 200. The hologram changed again, showing humans fighting wars, cutting forests, and building massive cities. "They are aggressive," continued Vex Moria. "They fight each other constantly. They destroy their own environment, and they reproduce very quickly." Skither had seen many species across the galaxy, but humans seemed particularly troubling. "Why are you telling me this, Chancellor?" "The Council decided long ago to keep Earth isolated. The Council has changed its mind. We need more information about the humans before they develop space travel and find us first. We need someone to go to Earth." Now Skither understood. He sat back in his chair. "You want me to go?" "Yes. You are our best diplomat. You have dealt with 53 different species. If anyone can understand the humans, it's you." "What exactly is my mission?" Vex Moria's expression grew serious. "You will go to Earth as an official envoy. You will meet with their leaders. You will learn about their culture, their technology, and most importantly, their intentions. Are they a threat to the galaxy? Should we help them join the Council? Or should we take steps to slow their progress?" Skither thought about it. Going to Earth would be dangerous. The humans might not welcome him. But after 200 years of routine diplomatic work, the challenge excited him. "When do I leave?" he asked. "Tomorrow. We have prepared a ship for you. It has everything you need to appear human when necessary. Our scientists have studied their biology and created a disguise that should work perfectly." Skither stood up. "I will not fail the Council." Vex Moria nodded. "I know you won't. But be careful, Skither. The humans are not like other species we have encountered. They are unpredictable." As Skither left the meeting room, he felt both excited and nervous. Earth was known as the problem planet among Council members. No diplomat had ever been sent there officially before. Little did he know that this mission would change not only his life, but the future of the entire galaxy. Skither's ship cut through the darkness of space, approaching the blue planet. Earth grew larger in his view screen. He felt nervous, though he would never admit it to the Council. This was not like his other missions. The humans didn't know about alien life yet. At least, not officially. "Begin landing sequence," he said to the ship's computer. "Use the coordinates the Council gave us." The ship responded, landing in Nevada area as planned. "Human detection systems have noticed us. Their military is tracking our approach." Skither nodded. This was expected. The Council had sent messages ahead to Earth's leaders, arranging this meeting in secret. Only a small group of humans would know about his arrival. The ship landed smoothly in the desert night. Through the windows, Skither could see human vehicles surrounding his ship. Men and women in uniforms stood waiting. He took a deep breath and activated his human disguise. His scaled skin changed to look like human flesh. His four-fingered hands grew an extra finger. The transformation felt strange, but the Council scientists had done good work. The ship's door opened with a hiss. Skither stepped out onto Earth soil for the first time. The air was thin compared to his home world. The gravity felt slightly stronger. 5 humans approached him while others stayed back, hands on their weapons. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Skither," said a tall man with gray hair. "I'm Director Alan Shepard of the International Space Coalition. This is Dr. Olivia Benson, our lead scientist for alien biology." Skither bowed slightly, following the greeting custom his briefing had described. But when he looked up, he was surprised. The humans were staring directly into his eyes. On his world, and most Council worlds, direct eye contact was considered rude or even threatening. Yet these humans seemed to expect it. "Thank you for your welcome," said Skither. "I bring greetings from the Galactic Council. We wish to establish peaceful relations with Earth." They led him to a building nearby. Inside was a room with a large table where more humans waited. Skither sat down, feeling their curious stares. "Before we begin," said a man in a military uniform with stars on his shoulders, "I have a question. I'm General Pete Wilson. My job is to protect this country and this planet. Why now? Your people have been watching us for decades. We've found evidence of your observation posts. Why decide to talk to us now?" Skither hadn't expected such directness. On Council worlds, new species were respectful, even fearful when meeting advanced civilizations. But these humans spoke as if they were equals. The Council believes Earth has reached a point in its development where official contact is appropriate, Skither said carefully. General Wilson laughed sharply. "In other words, we're getting too advanced for your comfort. You want to know if we're a threat." Dr. Benson jumped in. "What the General means is that we're curious about your timing. Earth is making rapid progress in space technology. Is that why you're here now?" Skither felt uncomfortable. These humans were too perceptive. In just minutes, they had guessed the real reason for his visit. "We wish to understand your species better," he said. "And yes, your rapid technological development is of interest to us." "At least he's honest," said General Wilson to the others. For the next 3 hours, the humans asked question after question. About the Council, about other alien species, about technology, about why Earth had been kept isolated. They were not afraid to challenge his answers or demand more information. Skither had visited many worlds and met many species in his long career. But he had never encountered beings quite like humans. They were physically weaker than many species, yet they showed no fear. They were technologically behind, yet they spoke as equals. As the meeting ended, Skither realized this mission would be unlike any he had experienced before. 1 week after his arrival, Skither prepared for the next phase of his mission. He needed to see how humans lived their daily lives. The meetings with officials had told him something about Earth's leaders, but not about ordinary humans. "You'll need a guide," Director Shepard told him. "Someone who can help you blend in." The next day, Skither met Samantha Reeves, a woman with curly brown hair and a quick smile. She worked as a language expert for the government. "I'll be your tour guide," she said, shaking his hand. "We've created a cover story. You're Dr. Zachary Thompson, a foreign diplomat on a cultural exchange. Most people won't know who you really are." Skither nodded. He had studied human languages and customs, but he knew that real experience would be different from training. "Where will we go first?" he asked. "New York City," Samantha replied. "If you want to understand humans, that's a good place to start. It has people from all over the world living together." They took a plane the next morning. Skither looked out the window as they flew over mountains and fields. Earth was beautiful from above, with its blue waters and green lands. When they landed in New York, Skither was not prepared for what he saw. The city was loud, crowded, and full of movement. Thousands of humans walked quickly on the streets. Cars honked. Music played from stores. Signs flashed with bright colors. Food smells came from small restaurants. "This is chaotic," he said as they walked through Times Square. Samantha laughed. "Yes, but watch closely." As they spent the day in the city, Skither began to see patterns. People followed rules without being told. They waited at red lights. They stood in lines. They moved to one side on escalators to let others pass. "No one is telling them what to do," he said with surprise. On council worlds, there are always officials giving orders, making sure everyone follows the rules. "Humans don't like being controlled too much," Samantha explained. "We make rules together, and most people follow them because it makes life better for everyone." Over the next 3 weeks, they visited many cities. In Washington, D.C., Skither saw monuments to human leaders who had died hundreds of years ago. "Why do you honor people who are long dead?" he asked. "To remember our history and learn from it," Samantha said. "Both the good and the bad parts." In Chicago, they watched a baseball game where thousands of humans cheered together. In New Orleans, they heard music that made people dance in the streets. In San Francisco, they visited a company where young humans were creating new technology in a large open room with no bosses visible. Each day, Skither sent reports back to the council. Each day, he found it harder to describe humans in simple terms. One evening, they sat at a small cafe in Seattle. People of different colors, ages, and styles walked by. "I don't understand," Skither said quietly. "How does your society work? Everyone is so different. Everyone seems to want different things. In the council, all species have clear roles. Everyone knows their place. There is order." Samantha sipped her coffee. "That's not how humans work. We argue. We disagree. Sometimes we even fight wars over our differences. But we've learned that our different ideas and ways of living make us stronger, not weaker." "Stronger how?" asked Skither. "More adaptable, more creative. When problems come, we find many different solutions because we think differently from each other." She smiled. "Unity doesn't mean everyone has to be the same." Skither was quiet for a long time. This idea went against everything the council believed about good governance, yet he could see that it worked for humans. That night, his report to the council was shorter than usual. "Humans continue to confuse and surprise me." After a month of visiting cities, Skither's next stop was different. He was going to see a research station in Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth. The council was especially interested in this visit because 20 years ago, one of their scout ships had crashed there. The humans had found some pieces of the ship. "We'll take a helicopter from the main base," Samantha explained as they put on heavy winter clothes. "The research station is studying climate change, but they also have a special lab for examining the unusual materials they found in the ice." The pilot, a friendly man named Steve Langdon, helped them into the helicopter. "Weather report says we should be fine, but Antarctica can change fast. Keep your warm gear close." As they flew over the endless white landscape, Skither thought about his mission. He had sent many reports to the council, but he felt that he still didn't truly understand humans. They were so contradictory, kind but also fierce, organized but also chaotic, united but also divided. Suddenly, the helicopter shook violently. "What's happening?" Samantha shouted over the noise. Storm came out of nowhere. Steve yelled back, "Fighting with the controls. Instruments are going crazy." Skither looked out the window. All he could see was white. The wind threw snow against the helicopter like tiny bullets. "I'm going to try to land," Steve shouted. "Hold on." The helicopter dropped fast. It hit the ice hard, bounced once, then crashed onto its side. For a moment, everything was quiet. Skithair opened his eyes. He was hanging sideways in his seatbelt. His arm hurt, but nothing seemed broken. Samantha. Steve. I'm okay, Samantha said, her voice shaking. She had a cut on her forehead. Steve wasn't so lucky. My leg, he groaned. I think it's broken. They helped each other out of the crashed helicopter. The cold hit them like a wall. The wind was so strong they could barely stand. The radio's dead, Steve said after checking the helicopter. And we're at least 15 miles from the research station. Can we walk there? Skithair asked. Samantha shook her head. Not in this storm. Not with Steve's broken leg. We need shelter first. They used parts of the helicopter to build a small shelter against the wind. Steve showed them how to make it stronger with packed snow. Inside, they were protected from the wind, but the cold was still deadly. We have emergency supplies for maybe 24 hours, Steve said. After that, he didn't need to finish. After that, they would freeze to death. Night came, and the temperature dropped even more. Skithair could see Samantha shivering violently. Steve's face was pale with pain. They were huddled together for warmth, but it wasn't enough. Skithair faced a difficult choice. He had a thermal regulator inside his body, a small device that all council diplomats carried when visiting cold planets. If he took it out and modified it, he could heat their shelter. But doing this would reveal his true abilities to the humans. It would break council rules. As he watched Samantha's lips turning blue, he made his decision. I can help, he said, but I need you to trust me. He opened a hidden flap in his wrist that looked like normal human skin. Inside was a small silver device. He pulled it out, ignoring their shocked faces. You're not really disguised as a human, are you? Steve whispered. That's actually what you look like. No, Skithair admitted. This is not my true form. He worked quickly, changing the settings on the device. Soon, it began to glow red, giving off heat. That's impossible, Samantha said, moving closer to the warmth. What is that? A thermal regulator from my world, Skithair said. There was no point hiding anymore. It can keep us warm for 3 days. They stared at him with wide eyes. You saved our lives, Steve said finally. Why? Skithair thought about the council rules. Observe, but don't interfere. Let nature take its course. Because it was right, he said simply. For the next 2 days, as they waited for rescue, Skithair answered their questions truthfully. He explained about the council, about his mission, about other worlds. Instead of fear or anger, he saw curiosity and gratitude in their eyes. When the rescue team finally found them, Skithair knew his mission had changed forever. After they returned from Antarctica, everything changed. Director Shepard called an emergency meeting. All the top officials who knew about Skithair gathered in a secure room. So, said General Wilson, arms crossed, you're not just an envoy. You're a spy. Skithair shook his head. I am an observer. That is different from a spy. You were sent to judge us, said Dr. Benson. To decide if we're a threat. Skithair couldn't deny this. Yes. The council was concerned about how fast humans are developing technology. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Samantha spoke up. He saved our lives in Antarctica. He broke his own rules to help us. Director Shepard looked at Skithair for a long time. We need to know more about this council and what they think of Earth. What happens when you send your report? Skithair had been thinking about this question for days. According to his training, he should simply observe and report. But his experiences on Earth had changed him. I need to send my official report soon, he said. The council is waiting. That night, alone in his room, Skithair wrote his report. He sat for hours, trying to find the right words. Humans are advancing rapidly, but show no immediate threat to council interests. They are divided into many groups but work together when needed. They are aggressive but also compassionate. They break rules but follow principles. I recommend continued observation but no intervention. He sent the report, knowing it wasn't what the council wanted to hear. They had expected him to confirm their fears about humans. Instead, he had defended them. 3 days later, he received the council's response. Report insufficient. Assessment unclear. Return immediately for consultation. Skithair knew what this meant. The council was not happy. They wanted a clear reason to either welcome Earth into the galactic community or take steps to slow human progress. His balanced view didn't help them make that decision. He requested more time on Earth to gather more information. The council did not reply for 2 days. When they did, their message was short. Extension granted. Assistant assigned. Skithair knew what assistant assigned really meant. The council was sending someone to watch him, to make sure he followed the rules. The next day, another ship landed in Nevada. From it stepped Amixalaran, a tall figure with the same human disguise as Skithair. But Skithair knew Amixalaran's real job. He was a security officer, not a diplomat. The council sent me to help your mission, Amixalaran said with a cold smile. They feel you might need guidance. Director Shepard arranged for Amixalaran to join their team, but he pulled Skithair aside afterward. I don't trust your new friend, he said quietly. Is he really here to help? Skithair chose his words carefully. The council wants to make sure I'm doing my job properly. And are you doing your job properly? Skithair thought about his experiences on Earth, the cities he had visited, the people he had met, the helicopter crash, the warmth of human kindness. I am doing what I believe is right, he said finally. Over the next few weeks, Skithair continued his work, showing Amixalaran human cities and explaining human culture. But he could see that Amixalaran was not impressed. Where Skithair saw creativity and spirit, Amixalaran saw chaos and danger. These humans are unpredictable, Amixalaran told him one evening. They argue among themselves. They have no unified government. They fight wars. They destroy their own planet. And yet you defend them. I report what I see, Skithair replied. Humans are complex. Amixalaran shook his head. The council doesn't want complexity. They want a clear assessment. Are humans a threat or not? As Amixalaran sent his own reports to the council each night, Skithair grew more worried. He had come to Earth thinking he would find a primitive, dangerous species. Instead, he had found friends. And now he feared what the council might decide to do based on Amixalaran's negative reports. 6 months passed. Skithair was now teaching at a university in Boston. His cover identity, Dr. Zachary Thompson, was a visiting professor of linguistics. He enjoyed teaching human students who asked questions no council student would dare ask. One day after class, a professor from the physics department stopped him in the hallway. Dr. Thompson, I'm Laura Mitchell. I've heard so much about you. She was a woman with short gray hair and bright eyes. Would you like to get coffee? I'd love to discuss your ideas about language patterns. Over the next few weeks, Skithair and Dr. Mitchell became friends. She was brilliant, working on new theories about space travel that made Skithair nervous. Her ideas were getting close to concepts the council considered dangerous for young species to discover. If we could fold space like this, she explained one day, drawing a diagram on a napkin, we might travel to distant stars without taking years to get there. Skithair knew she was right. But he also knew the council would see her research as proof that humans were advancing too quickly. Meanwhile, Amixalaran watched everything. He sent daily reports to the council about Skithair's native acculturation, how he was becoming too friendly with humans. One evening, Amixalaran came to Skithair's apartment unannounced. The council has made its decision, he said without greeting. The humans have gone too far. What do you mean? Asked Skithair. Amixalaran showed him a report. Human scientists had found more pieces of the crashed scout ship in Antarctica. They were studying the materials and making progress in understanding them. "The Council has voted," said Amexularin. "Earth will undergo a memory sweep and technological regression." Skithair felt cold. He knew what this meant. The Council had done this 3 times before to species they thought were developing too fast. The process would remove the last 50 years of human progress and wipe people's memories of that time. Millions would die in the confusion that followed. "That's extreme," Skithair said carefully. "Humans are not a threat. They're just curious. Curious species become dangerous species," Namxularin replied. "The process begins tomorrow. We leave tonight. A ship will pick us up in 3 hours." After Namxularin left, Skithair sat in silence. The Council's decision went against everything he had learned about humans. Yes, they were advancing quickly. Yes, they could be aggressive, but they were also kind, creative, and valued life, even alien life. His communicator buzzed. It was Dr. Mitchell. "Zach, I had a breakthrough on my research. Can you come to the lab?" Skithair could hear the excitement in her voice. She had no idea that tomorrow her work would be gone, her memories erased. As he packed his few belongings, preparing to leave Earth forever, he looked at the books his students had given him. The pictures from his travels, the small gifts from people who had become his friends. He thought about Samantha, who had shown him Earth's cities with pride. He thought about Steve from Antarctica, who had thanked him for saving their lives. He thought about Dr. Mitchell, whose brilliant mind would be damaged by the Council's action. The Council was wrong about humans. They saw only the potential threat, not the potential friendship. They wanted to control the galaxy, not share it. 3 hours before the ship would arrive, Skithair made the hardest decision of his long life. He would not get on that ship. He would not let the Council destroy human progress. He picked up his communicator and called Director Shepard. "We need to meet right away," he said. "Earth is in danger." The next morning, Council ships moved into position high above Earth. The humans couldn't see them because of special cloaking technology. The ships prepared to send a powerful pulse that would disable Earth's electronics, followed by memory-changing chemicals released into the atmosphere. But the signal to start never came. Instead, every screen in the Council ships suddenly showed the same message. "Attention Council Fleet. Earth knows you are here. Earth is ready to defend itself." In the Council's main meeting room, High Chancellor Vex Moria received urgent calls from the fleet commander. "The humans have detected us," the commander said. "But that's impossible. Our cloaking technology is perfect." "What else?" asked Vex Moria, her 6 eyes blinking quickly. They've activated defense systems targeting our ships. Systems that shouldn't exist. Systems that use our own technology." Then all communication screens in the Council chambers turned on by themselves. The face of a human appeared. "Director Shepard, this is Earth calling the Galactic Council," he said calmly. "We request immediate talks. We know about your plans to attack our planet. We are prepared to defend ourselves." Vex Moria was shocked. How could this be happening? Then another screen lit up, showing Council data files, ship positions, and even private messages about the plan to reset Earth's technology. "Where is this coming from?" she demanded. "How do they have our classified information?" Suddenly, she understood. There was only one way the humans could know all this. Only one person who had access to Council secrets, and was on Earth. "Skithair," she whispered. 2 days later, High Chancellor Vex Moria herself traveled to Earth. This had never happened before. The leader of the Council visiting a non-member planet. She landed in Washington, D.C., where world leaders waited to meet her. In a large meeting room, she looked at the humans sitting across from her. They showed no fear, only determination. "Before we begin," she said, "I must ask, where is diplomatic envoy Skithair?" A human woman stood up. She wore a blue suit and had a confident expression. "My name is Ambassador Nicole Johnson," she said. "Skithair has requested asylum on Earth. We have granted it." Vex Moria couldn't believe what she was hearing. A council diplomat had betrayed them. He had chosen humans over his own people. He has violated our most sacred laws, Vexmoria said. He must be returned to the council. Ambassador Johnson shook her head. That won't be possible. Skither is now under Earth's protection. More importantly, we should discuss why your council planned to attack our planet without warning. The talks lasted for days. Humans used the information Skither had given them to negotiate from a position of strength. They knew about council technology. They knew about other worlds. And they had already started preparing defenses based on this knowledge. In the end, the council was forced to accept a new arrangement. Earth would not be isolated anymore. Humans would be allowed to develop their technology and eventually join the galactic community as equals, not as a controlled species. Years passed. Humans used their new knowledge to advance quickly. They built ships that could travel to distant stars. They met other species. They established their own colonies on new worlds. The Council had to change many of its old rules. Other species that had been controlled for centuries demanded the same freedoms that Earth had won. And Skither. Some said he continued to live on Earth, teaching at universities, helping humans understand the galaxy. He no longer wore his human disguise, but showed his true form, scaled skin, 4 fingers, yellow eyes. Human children weren't afraid of him. They asked him questions about other worlds and stars. Sometimes, young diplomats from the Council would visit Earth to study this unusual planet. They would ask to meet the famous Skither who had changed galactic history. Why did you do it? They would ask. Why did you choose humans over your own people? Skither would always smile and say the same thing. I didn't betray the Council. I helped them find a better way. Sometimes you have to lose your old self to find a better one. I went to Earth to change humans. Instead, Earth changed me. In Council records, his name was listed with a simple note. Diplomatic Envoy Skither, sent to Earth, never recovered. But to humans, he was a hero who had seen the best in them when others saw only danger. The end.